every chapter for a week. So this is actually our 7th day reading this. It's for a deep, thorough understanding. It's not to memorize, but it's to internalize. That's how you create habits, positive or negative. It's repetition of information. It can be good and self-serving, or it can be negative and debilitating. So what we do afterwards to further emphasize the information that we just read, as we get up, give a summary of what we took from the chapter. This is our 7th day of doing so. So if you guys hear something that you've heard before, excuse us, but again, we're just re-emphasizing what we got out of it. Cody, you want to get us started?
How did I know you were going to ask?
Because I looked and then...
He's a man. All right, man.
Let's see. Expecting opponents. Well, I think we'll go with the first page, man. The first page, 91, expecting abundance. I mean, even the first page in general, Bob talks about how this chapter is basically the heart of the book. It's the middle of it. Everything getting put together is literally for a reason. Everything's intentional. And in the first, very, very first couple of sentences, expectation dictates what that ruling state would be, and therefore governs what corresponds to the mind and is attracted to your life. When they talk about the ruling state of mind, we talk about this over and over and over again. Whenever we do our summaries of the reading, we talk about the conscious mind, the subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is the ability to choose thoughts. You get a chance to build that image in your mind. You get a chance to think of a car. You think of a car right now, a red car, you're going to think of a picture in your mind. If you think of something like a paradigm, you don't know what it looks like, it causes confusion. So I was thinking about the conscious mind, being able to hold whatever image you want in your mind, and corresponding to your ruling state of mind subconsciously will control our habits. Chuck mentioned before, we read this over and over and over again because it creates that habit in your mind. You get a chance to internalize and you start really understanding this information. So what I took from the chapter today was being able to internalize something once you have a clear mental picture of it. You can't internalize and truly get something you want. Bob was saying how you can have whatever you want. You have to build the image in your mind. He talked about John and Pat's story. Having what you want, once you see the house, you see it going on, but you can't do it without having that clear mental picture in your mind. So if you don't see exactly what you want, I mean, down to whether it's a car, like what color is the car, what color is the rims, what side is what color is the interior, what color is the wheel. You know, it has to be everything down to detail. You won't get a chance to really get what you desire, because until you hold that image in your conscious mind and you allow it to be over and over again in repetition, it'll become ingrained in you, internalized, subconscious mind. And then that's when you start having your goals come out to reality, into material world, into manifestation. That's what I took from it.
I do the honors. Going second after that great presentation. So I'm actually on page 92. And this kind of stuck out to me more so today than any other day. And I probably Googled the same word 3 times already, and I forgot it. Yes, opulence. Okay, so opulence. I've just never heard of it before. That's funny that you knew that one too, Chuck. But it says in the preceding pages, I explained how prosperity, properly understood, is simply the inward awareness of the opulence. Now, opulence is wealth, wholeness and completeness that abounds within the spiritual realm. Now they take it into further detail. It says, in other words, it is impossible to feel poor when you are conscious of being enveloped in the protective care of a loving God, universal spirit, or whatever else you may wish to call the spiritual center of our universe. And he says, let me repeat, there never is and there never has been any lack of supply other than that which we have created for ourselves because of our own limited awareness. So they're pretty much just telling us that the only reason why we're not in the place that we want to be is because of our lack of awareness. And what awareness does is it just opens our eyes to another level. It opens our mind. And what it causes is for us to figure out that there's a ton of wealth out there. When they say that God is within us, then there's no poor inside of you. And poor inside of you is that your perception can come off to look at it as if it is poor instead of the other side. Most people just don't understand the polarity, the two sides of both things. And so when we just focus on the side that we want rather than the side that we're probably inside at a certain time, our present circumstances, we'll be able to get out of the situations that we're in more often and a lot quicker than what we're doing anyway now. So just understanding your spiritual part of yourself. We're physical body. We're not physical bodies. We live in this body. It's an instrument. And it shows us that God is perfectly flowing through us. There's no way for defeat. There's no way for failure. There's no way you're poor at all. You have extreme wealth inside of you and wealth around you. But when you become aware of that, is when you start to seek that. And that's when your body starts to show that, express through your body, and your results change because your thoughts change.
All right. I like that. Don't just try to end up with a rhyme.
Go ahead, bro. You got it. You got it.
No, I was just the only thing that really caught my eye was desire and expectation. I really don't even need the book. Show an example of it. Like we all have a desire for something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm saying like this. I have a desire. Well, I had a desire to be an NFL player one day. Okay, now with that being said, you know, I finished school. I finished high school, graduated, everything else. But I didn't push myself. So to everyone else, it's like I didn't really have the desire to push myself. I did, but at the same time I didn't. So it was like, okay, well, that's when it falls back on expectation. Okay, so now expectation-wise, I'm looking at, okay, maybe this is what I want to do, and maybe this is what I don't want to do. You know, because I had plans to go off to school, you know, but at the same time, I didn't expectate me having kids. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like my desire is gone, and I didn't expectate having kids at all. So that's really what I was paying attention to in the book. Like, I heard everything else, like I was listening to everybody read, and I was just zoned out on desire and expectation.
Go. What's up, bro? Go ahead, Los.
So, I mean, I already told you guys one, but there's the, I mean,
There we go.
I think it was like he put a lot of things in that one chapter, and he kind of just put in a few things to touch up on the concept of you know why you should expect, right? Like, you know, also how to help you, or actually remind you that you shouldn't expect for just 1 second and hope it happens overnight, right? And in fact, he says that don't expect it overnight. On the other hand, you know, you just gotta keep expecting, right? And make sure you keep fighting towards it. And then that's when he also puts together the whole thing of, you know, you gotta see it, you know, you see what you get, right? Like you gotta keep seeing it so you eventually get it, right? That's part of expecting, right? But like one of the things that well, actually so many things got to me because, you know, since the beginning, I mean, just expectation itself, right? You gotta expect. But one of the things is, I remember, I'm sure, I don't know if you guys still have it on your wallet. I don't think I have my wallet with me. But the little card, remember the little card with your desire? And in the back, you know, he says, you know, you should put, you know, if you seek, you shall find, right? He doesn't really say, if you seek so many times, you shall find. He just says, if you seek, you shall find, right? He says, if you knock, it shall open, right? It doesn't say you should knock on 1 door, 2 doors, 5 doors. It just says, if you knock, it shall open, right? So it's kind of like you just got to keep going, and you never know when it's going to get there, right? But at the same time, even though you don't know when it's going to get there, you got to keep reminding yourself, you know, that's what I want. You got to keep seeing it. You got to keep just fighting towards it, right? It's where you know, if you have a problem, you say, well, you know what? I'm going to start, you know, a company where, you know, for example, I work at O'Hare, right? So, you know, I'm going to start a company and we're going to get, you know, 10 flies out every day. Oh, well, you know, somebody will say with, you know, the negativity you see around, they will say, well, you know what? Our equipment just messed up. Well, you know, to some people, it's easy to say, well, that's an obstacle. I'm going to say, you know what? Well, damn, my life is screwed. I just put all my money into this. We're not going to be able to get this plane out on time, right? So, you know, we're screwed. On the other hand, you got the other person who says, well, you know what? That's not what I see. I see what we're getting, but that's not what I see, right? I see us having a successful company that pushes out planes on time. So because I see that, I'm going to say, well, you know what? What do we have to do? I mean, I see that we got broken equipment. Okay, I get it. I see what's going on around us, but that's just an obstacle. That's not what I really see, right? It's just an obstacle. It's temporary. What I see is us getting that plane out on time. Whether, it's today, it's tomorrow. But I see, like, take back, not tomorrow the plane. I mean, I see it like, being successful, not today necessarily, but, with time, forever, right? But what I see is, okay, we're going to get this plane out on time. What do we have to do to get it out on time? Okay, I see an obstacle, but what do we have to do to see, to actually get what I see? Do we have to borrow one? I mean, sometimes it's little things, right? It's little obstacles, and all you got to do is just think. Instead of thinking, oh, well, I'm screwed, you just got to be like, well, what do I have to do to get what I see? What's next? That's right. Yeah, you expect it, and that's when it comes, again, when he says, you don't, you got to expect, right? You got to expect it to be, positive. Right? So if you really, really expect it to come out positive, then you're going to get that mentality of saying, well, all right, what's next, right? Except like you said, what's next? Let's borrow another, equipment. Let's buy one, run it, do whatever you got to do, but let's get it out, right? That's all I got.
You want to go back up there?
Yeah, because he just reminded me a lot about school again. So, coming into my freshman year, you know how me and you were. We were already close. So watching him play ball, that made me want in his position, which was running back, half. So I desired that position, but I didn't expect that position. So they had the 365 thing going on. Everybody was training. I'm not for sure if you guys know TJ Axon. Okay, so they had the 365 thing going on now. By my desire, I wanted his position, but my mind wasn't fully set on, working out every day. We got to train, we got to do this, we got to do that. So I wasn't expecting all that. But once he graduated, then I needed his help. So now I have the desire to have his help, which I appreciate him a lot for that, because if it wasn't for him, I really wouldn't be playing ball. So I really looked up to him at the end of the day. So that was my desire part right there. That I wanted to get over.
Appreciate that, bro. You gotta follow that, Pablo.
All right, kind of like off of what he said, what you desire. I'm going on my senior year of high school, and me, I wanted to, always play ball and stuff like that. I'm all into sports, baseball, basketball, football. I mean, my desire was, to play and always be part of the team, but I never fully pushed myself to that every day. And, made desire, I don't know, commit myself to it. I never did, so my desire never really, it was just pointless, But, now I'm on my senior year of high school, it just kind of makes me realize more I should have just put my desire in now. Currently I'm playing football for them, and I'm figuring out my position, what I want to do. I want to do running back. That's my desire. But, I got to commit myself to that every day and constantly doing what I want to do. Kind of like in the book right here, it says, program your personal computer to expect good results, and that is exactly what you'll receive. If you're, as long as you program and push yourself to good and expect good, that's what you're going to get. Don't, settle for less or fall off or nothing. Just keep pushing and hope for good, and that's what you're going to get no matter what.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
First time reading the book, so I know y'all been reading it for a week straight, and I understand the point what my man was getting to in the beginning about a lot of principles. From the first page when it was talking about this the heart of the book, and I started reading principles and how you gotta ingrain things to be a habit. That's why y'all reading this over and over, so it could be in your subconscious and you do things without thinking about it. So as y'all on the topic of desire, it was when he said if you don't put that things into fruition, it's just wishful thinking. So when I was in school, I wanted to do social work when I went to college. I had a desire because I was working for, I volunteered my time for a not-for-profit for so many years, so I was just like, man, I just want to do that. But when school time came, it's just like, I didn't want to do the work. I didn't want to do the papers. I was just slacking, even though like I got through semesters, it was just like, my heart wasn't focused.
Right.
So like, I ended up saying, man, I'm going to take a semester off and just work, and it's just like, even though I'm working, it's just having that thought in my head, like, do you want to do this for the rest of your life? And it's like, don't you want to be in school? But when you're in school, you're not motivated. So it's just having to put things in fruition that wants to help you, like surrounding yourself with people that want to push you and elevate you. You can't be around a bunch of guys that just be in the streets all day and expect like, yo, I'm gonna go out and get my master's and go back to school, and help kids. Like, that's not how it works. So it's all about like surrounding yourself with good energy so you can have the desire to do it, and have that expectation and it come all together. So that's what
I guess I'll let you go last.
Oh no, but I wasn't gonna go. I was just gonna record.
Okay. I'm gonna tie this all up together. Yeah, I got a few points. A few points. The first point, page 92. It reads, "It means that before any of us can even begin to overcome the poverty which surrounds us in our external world, the things outside of us, we must first conquer the impoverishment that is buried deep within ourselves." And that'll make sense. I'll tie that into my overall point of expect abundance, the chapter. And then it made me think about what do most people say they want? What do we say we want to achieve? And no matter what we say we want, no matter what we say we think we can accomplish, we never escape our external circumstances. And Cody has been alluding to that all week. We never remove the poverty consciousness that we have deep, deep inside of us. We all say we want to be a millionaire. We all say we want to retire our parents. We all say we want to drive nice cars and eat nice foods, but deep down, like, we never get rid of that feeling of lack and limitation. And throughout the book, and especially throughout this chapter, he mentions the great thinkers, the great visionaries, the people we look up to. And to bring this full circle, it made me think a lot of the things that we consider unachievable in our lives are nowhere close to the great thinkers and the visionaries of the world. If you can wrap your head around that, somebody built the buildings that we lived in, somebody built the planes that we fly in, somebody created Walt Disney. It took somebody expecting and seeing something that nobody else could ever conceive to truly create the beauty that we have in this world. Could you imagine Alexander Graham saying that he wanted to talk to somebody across the world by pressing buttons on the telephone? He said this in a time where there were no cell phones, there was no internet, there was no Skype, there was no Uvu.
No telephone poles.
Nothing. But he, in his own mind, believed that this could be possible. That they say the first bathroom was an outhouse. Somebody saw an outhouse being inside your home and being convenient. So, when I think of the great visionaries and I think of the great thinkers of the world, I really believe that Thomas Edison's, Bob always says it, one of our mentors always says, that the people that we consider geniuses were considered crazy when they were alive. And that makes so much sense to me. I think they modeled their expectations after nature. If you think about how nature reproduces itself, when a branch falls off a tree, the tree isn't a failure. When the leaves fall, it isn't a failure, it's just part of the process. It expects to grow. It expects to re-nurture itself. No matter the conditions, no matter the season, it expects abundance year in and year out. So when I tie that into how we operate and what abundance means, abundance is whatever you want it to be. when you hear abundance, when you hear prosperity, it doesn't necessarily mean you make $1 million a year. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the next Mark Zuckerberg or build Google. Abundance is what you want. It's what you perceive it to be. If $3,000 a month is abundance to you, then that's abundance. If $1 million a month to you is abundance, then that's abundance. But the first and the most important thing that I think this whole book and this chapter is trying to say is, first, you have to build that image, create that clear picture in your mind. You have to build a strong desire. We've touched on that a few times in this room. Build a strong desire to be in social work. Build a strong desire to be the starting running back. Build a strong desire to start on the football team. And then expect it. Because once you expected it, you were one of the best in the area. When you expected it, you were one of the best in the state. When you expected it, you cook for your boys and we eat good. So, I think expectation mixed with a very clear image, mixed with a strong desire, is all we're all looking for. And we don't need any one person or any group of people to validate that, because the people who behave and act in a way that they don't need validation are the ones who change the worlds we live in. So that's what I got out of it.
Hot, I think, man. Hot fire.
Good job, bro. You always trying to make it hard for you to go back
To follow up. He made me want to hop back up with desire.
I'll leave that. Mine this time was, because this is our last day reading it, and desire and expectation. I was thinking about what stops us from getting the things that we really want. I don't think it's that we don't know how to get it. I just think that it's a knowing and doing gap, a big knowing and doing gap right there. So we have a strong desire to do whatever it is that we may want to do. You have that strong desire. But sometimes we don't even take action because we don't expect that we can get it. We don't take action because we're not scared to do something that makes us uncomfortable. You get what I'm saying? You get me? And so when we're scared to do stuff that makes us uncomfortable, because that's the only way we're going to grow, is if we get uncomfortable. And so when you desire something, the universe conspires to you regardless. It's going to conspire to you. As soon as you desire it, things will come your way, opportunities will come your way. But guess what? Each opportunity is going to cause for you to get uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And so when you have to get uncomfortable, what do? You go back to what you know how to do. Instead of getting uncomfortable, you go back to the old paradigm. You're going back to just staying caved in. And so I think it's more so another part there that needs to go with uncomfortability and really seeing those doors that are in front of you and those ways that you can make the next step up. And so to sum it all up, yeah, it's about desire and having that strong desire. It doesn't matter as long as you get that strong desire and you're emotionally attached to it. Because I'm pretty sure everyone has a desire. It's self-explanatory. But I'm pretty sure we all have something that we really, really want. You know, and as soon as we build that clear image and we say, you know what, I want to do this. You know, I want to do this. I want to have this, whatever it may be. As soon as we make that decision, the universe conspires too. Next thing you know, people will knock on you. You may get a phone call from an old friend, and they may have a great opportunity for you, whatever it may be. And then it can go right along with what you want. But the one thing that stops you is what? Uncomfortability.
Yeah, uncomfortability.
Uncomfortability.
That's what I was going to say.
And so you desire it and you expect to get there, but you don't want to get uncomfortable for it. You follow me? So I think that's a huge part in it. And I see it in myself too sometimes as well. Especially about a year ago. I noticed that I had to get uncomfortable going door to door. I noticed that I had to get uncomfortable just doing anything. Every time I've grown, I had to get uncomfortable. Every time I want to get something I really desired, I had to get uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I think it goes desire, expectation, and hand in hand is uncomfortability, because it's the only way you're going to grow. So, right on.
Yes, sir.
Man,
And cut. Oh, not cut.
Yeah, not cut, man. No cut. But no, just to close it up, because it's been a great week, and I mean, for everybody's watching, to summarize it, this whole chapter, it was truly about having a strong desire, like we all said, having a strong desire to the point that you really expect it. Because people's like, okay, you desire it and you expect it to happen, but if you truly, truly expect it, it changes your actions. And that's the key thing. Because when you really expect it, it changes your actions, how you go after it. And I remember talking to my brother Sean on the phone, and he's training to get back into the NFL again. I was like, if you truly expect it, trust me, what will you do if tomorrow, you have $1 million? What would change? A year from now, you have $2 million. What will you do right now every day? What will your actions be like? And you will have it for sure, so you totally expect it. So what will your actions be every day until then? So if we truly expect it, man, that's really going to change our actions, like literally every day, what we do, how you talk to people, how you walk, how you think, everything, every little thing. Sure.
Lastly, when you want something new, something that you're really desiring it, I want you to try it out as if you were a kid again. When you want to tie your shoe, when you want to ride a bicycle, all the things that us as kids, before we know as much limitation as we're programmed with, it's a lot easier for us to get uncomfortable because we fall down and it's deemed to be okay, or we can't tie our shoe the first time we try it, like it's okay. So be okay with failing when you first start, and be okay with feeling uncomfortable. It's a great quote, life begins when the comfort zone ends. And another thing, it says, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So you must continue to make sure that you're okay with being comfortable. Like the kid, have that childlike imagination to see yourself for what you want, and not allowing the noise, the outside world, to deem whether or not if it's possible. Only you know if it's possible because it's in your mind. It has to be created there first before you actually see it on your, in your results in your physical plane.
Preach.
To get something you never had before, you got to do something you never done before.
Hey,
I think
straight like
goes
that.
hand in hand with it.
And cut.